Hi, I'm Ann Marshall with Mystery Martial Arts Monday, and it certainly has been mysterious. If you were on the Facebook page recently, you would have seen me start, stop several times, and I thought I had things figured out, but Facebook and Zoom these days are having a little maybe power struggle. So I'm doing Zoom straight, and we'll upload this then to the Facebook page shortly. So I hadn't really thought of a title. Maybe it's like the year in review, because I'm getting ready for the Marsh Creek Community Annual Art Show. And I was putting together the quilt, one of the quilts I'm going to enter. And it has to do with the first 28 days that I had on privatework.com, which is a system of asking, I'll say, deep questions that create insight and meaning. And very early into COVID, that started, and I participated right from the very beginning. And so this is my first workbook, and this is, I don't have the dates on this book. This might be 3 or 4 months worth of the individual insights. And then I created a quilt. I got so excited about the insights. They seemed so powerful and meaningful to me that I knew that I would embody them better, deeper, bigger, and beyond if I interpreted them in some kind of a visual format. Excuse me. Hold on, because this is important. So I went ahead and did that. And I'm going to show you the quilt, and I'm going to describe it a little bit. So let's see how this goes. I'm actually outside. I hope that my neighbor's dogs don't start barking, little yippy dogs, but she loves them. So here is the quilt that I'm going to be putting in. And I'm going to see if I can move that a little bit. Something kind of changed. Wouldn't you know it? Hold on. Wee little bit more. All right, that's a little bit better. All right, that's probably as good as it's going to get. So let me explain it to you. All right, so this is day 1. And day 1, let me come over here. Day 1, the question was, what do I imagine is the most important contribution I can make to the people I serve? And my response was clarity, being clear on what I do and who I am and what I bring to the world. So that's my representation of that. And I'll just kind of go around a little independently. Number 3, this is day 3. And the question was, what do I imagine needs to change in my life to create the level of mental health that allows me to be more fully engaged in the present moment? And I came up with connect, that connecting was really important. Now, this was done actually April 14th. So right into the beginning of the lockdown that we went through last year in 2020. And I ended up coming up with the 30-day decluttering challenge that many of you participated in. And that kind of brought some meaning to people's lives. And then if I go around here, this is number 6. And that had to do with, what do I imagine needs to change in my life to create the level of mental health that allows me to be more fully engaged in the present moment. And for me, that had to do with creating space. So you can see that each of these are several pages. And what had happened into the lockdown is I moved from my office space, where I have always been an office girl, going in early, staying late, 6.5 days a week. And for me to try to transfer to work at home in real estate was extremely challenging. So coming up with the understanding that creating space was going to be really necessary for my mental sanity. So then I ended up moving actually a desk into my art studio space and having a corner for work. And that kind of gave me at least a corner in which to work in. Then over here, I've got the puzzle pieces. And that has to do with what do I imagine is possible if I give my most important work relationship more of my undivided attention. And so it was in that time that I decided that connecting with my clients and friends and coworkers and family were most important. So I ended up doing a lot on Zoom. Quickly embraced it. I did bingo challenges for clients, giving away money prizes. I did a quilting bingo for my quilt group, and then came up with a creativity challenge series, which was about 3.5 weeks of daily creativity challenges. And that's where I had to do a lot of research and gain a fuller appreciation of what creativity entailed in its entirety, and kind of keep people inspired and feeling good in a time where things were so unsure and we really didn't know what was happening. Then let's see, number 9 is a water drop. And that is, what do I imagine is possible when I choose to take better care of myself or of my body? And that's where water came out as being really, really necessary for me. I got one of those big multi-gallon jugs of water, filled it up every day. And every day my challenge was to drink that. So that was just a wonderful improvement. Then I love this one, which is number 10. And this is, what do I imagine would be possible when I develop a healthier relationship with time? And for me, working in real estate, time has always been an issue. There never seems to be enough time. There's always so much work that seems to get done. But I really love that I came up with looking at something I ended up terming carpe momentum. So instead of carpe diem, seize the day, it was carpe momentum, seize the moment. And that became very inspirational for me to use throughout the next couple of weeks and over the last year, was to really, really capitalize on each and every moment, that they're all a gift and how sacred they are. Then I had a lot of fun with this one down here, and you might be able to see this is a clock. See if I can hold it up for you, because I'm not sure if that's too low. But the clock says, what time is it? The time is gone quilting. The question was, what do I imagine is the resolution for a conflict that I'm engaged in right now? And that conflict had to do with how to balance my time, because I was finding that I was still so immersed with the real estate, but I'm sitting in my art studio and I don't have the time for art. And I was also feeling, I don't know about you, but at that time there was a lot of doom and gloom. And were we ever going to come out of it? Was the economy ever going to be restored? Was anybody ever going to buy houses again? And it was a scary time. So I realized shortly into that, this time frame, that creating art and staying inspired was really important for me. So my insight was that I need to set up office hours so that I focus my individual attention on work when I'm working. And I also need to spend early morning hours and weekend time so that I can satisfy my passion around creating art. So that was a really wonderful thing. What time is it? It's time gone quilting, like gone fishing. So I really enjoyed that. Then here's where I elected to get more involved in Marsh Creek. I mean, I've been involved for a long time. I've been an active community member, and I'm the chairperson for their annual art show. Of course, we had to cancel the art show last year, so that was like, oh my goodness, how are we ever going to resurrect that? So then I created a once a month creativity connection series. So we featured an artist every month and had a Zoom call for members and residents of Marsh Creek, where the featured speaker got to talk about their studio space or their art process or their quality of life and all that sort of thing. Again, trying to kind of breathe life and inspiration into everyday existence during a global pandemic, during lockdown. And then this last one, this is the 28th day of my first 28 days with the private work. And the question is, what do I imagine are the skills, the capabilities, or expertise I want to develop in the next 3 years? And I wrote down here, my insight is to trust in the process of the private work. This is the greatest skill that I can develop that will yield manifestation and synchronicity. I am developing the imagination muscle, and that's what the work is about. So there you have it. On the back of the quilt, I wrote, thankfully, I wrote the day, the question, and the insight, so that I've got a quick and easy reference. Let me come back around to you. So here I am again. I hope you could hear me okay. I hope you could see that okay. It will be hanging at Marsh Creek this week. Of course, you'll have the backstory, nobody else will. So I was really amazed at how much growth occurred for me in a very short period of time, 28 days. And I would say, during a time where I was experiencing fear and a lot of worry. So I'm just really amazed at that private work process. Here is the now beautiful notebooks that I have to do the private work in. And what I've done most recently is turning to them is then that brought me to, instead of doing it in quilt medium or fabric medium, I started doing the soul collage cards. And actually this work led me directly to the soul collage card process. I'm a facilitator to work with soul collage. The soul collage card process led me to archetype study, and now I'm in training to be an archetype consultant. And I can see how archetypes are affecting my life, my creativity, my artwork, certainly my clients. I have guide as my number one, born into the archetype of guide. And that's exactly what I've always sought to do, is to lead, protect, and guide my clients. And so here I am, I'm a born guide. So that was kind of just really wonderful to acknowledge. So this work has been really inspirational. Again, you can see that I end up doing my card and my writing. And this work is now being, it's continued to evolve and grow. And just as of this week, there's a new format, and you can go to privatework.com and sign up for the workout. work it out, if you will, and then actually meet with the mentor and creator, Joe Stumpf, once a week to discuss that in a group format. So that'll be really exciting to see how that all changes. Or if you want more information about it, you can let me know. I'm not using this as a sales pitch. I'm just really in the process of hanging this quilt for the Marsh Creek Community Art Show. I realized how much had transpired in my life in this very short period of time, a huge amount of growth, and just kind of blown away that that's like staring me at the face. So it's kind of like when you don't look at yourself in the mirror for a couple of years and you look in the mirror and you go, wow, things have really changed. And so that's kind of the point where I'm at. And that's why maybe that this is a good title, kind of referring to it as the year in review. As a process or a byproduct, I guess I should say, of where I've been in art and work, I can see that art is really important to me. It's like a part of my soul, and I'm very committed to bringing more beauty and illumination into the world and looking at how I can make that happen. I've been making little stabs and dabs, but I'm really looking at something more committed and more, I'll say, pervasive, because I love that one quilt that I came up with. It's called AWE, AWE, and that's art is within everyone. And I believe that very strongly. And I think that what we do need in this world is more beauty and illumination, and that would help change the world to be a better place. So I'm seeking to bring that into my everyday work, my everyday art, my everyday conversations. I want to thank you for being a part of this conversation and being with me along the way on my journey. I invite comments and questions and participation in whatever way you feel comfortable in doing so. So thank you so much for coming by today.